What's good, you animals? Jake here, Jake as ever, and when it comes to horror games, I am a huge baby. I literally freeze up so hard when I try to play a horror game, and I'm convinced that one day a jump scare will stop my heart and actually kill me. But the funny thing is, I actually love horror games, and movies, and TV shows, and books, etc. I just love horror in general. But horror games are by far the most unique and interesting to me, largely because it puts you into the horror directly, which is why they're so damn scary. So I will often watch YouTubers play horror games, kind of like watching a TV show, because I want to see the scares, and I want to know the story, but I just can't get through it myself. Growing up, I didn't really interact with Resident Evil. I didn't watch the movies, and I think I played one of the games on PlayStation 2, the one with the guy that sells you stuff from his coat, but otherwise I didn't really engage with the franchise. That is until 2017 when Resident Evil 7 came out. Now, I'm a complete tourist, but from what I can tell, the franchise was in kind of a downward spiral before 7. Resident Evil 5 and 6 got a lot of hate, and many people felt as though the series had forgotten its roots. Resident Evil 7 stepped in with a brand new story, brand new characters and monsters. Hell, it was even a first-person shooter, which was new for the mainline series of games. But it had that unmistakable Resident Evil vibe, and reintroduced the franchise to a whole new generation of people, myself included, because I watched these YouTubers called Super Best Friends play it. I watched this channel pretty casually, but I ended up watching every video from this 17-part Let's Play of Resident Evil 7. I was completely enthralled by the story and horror of the game, and also the Super Best Friends are just funny as hell.
There's a ghost lady that sometimes appears out here.
Sometimes.
Then we shoot the intro.
I've never seen her.
If I saw a ghost in a forest, I'd kill myself.
Yeah?
That's so much scarier.
So that you can fight her in your ghost form?
Oh, yes! Oh, that's an excellent follow-up to that scenario.
Shout out to them, especially Wooly, who wasn't even in this series, but he's my favorite. With Resident Evil 9 coming out recently, I kind of got curious about Resident Evil toys. So I booted up a stream on my main channel, dumbjake, and talked about all of the Resident Evil toys I could find. If I missed any badass figures, please let me know. And also, if there's any cool Resident Evil lore you'd like to hit me with in the comments, I would be so down to read some and learn more about the series. Also, if you enjoyed the video, please consider liking and subscribing. It ain't extra. Alright, gamers. First things first, we're gonna take a look at the Resident Evil toys by Toy Biz. Yes, Toy Biz had a Resident Evil toy line. Kinda. They had this, line of toys called Video Game Superstars Presents, which would be a bunch of different video games. There were Mario Kart, and I think Diddy Kong Racing had some, but also Resident Evil and Resident Evil 2 had a line of figures from the Video Game Superstars Presents line. Now, here is the packaging, as you can see. Very, very classic bubble packaging going on here. Includes authentic video game actions, which is very cool. It's interesting because it's not really about Resident Evil, it is, but it's also about being a video game, if that makes any sense. It's kind of strange and kind of interesting. They did Resident Evil and Resident Evil 2, so let's just take a look here. We have Chris Redfield, and keep in mind, I am not a Resident Evil expert, so I don't really know these characters too well. I don't really know the stories too well. I know Resident Evil 7 kind of okay, but there's actually no Resident Evil 7 toys on this list. So what they largely make is statues of stuff. There's tons of different Resident Evil statues, but actual toy lines like this are just not super present. I'll say this, Chris Redfield is kind of doing the classic Toy Biz thing where he's kind of bent in a weird pose, pre-posed a little bit. He's kind of going off to the side here. He does come with Cerberus, it says, some sort of hellhound thing going on, and I think the dog falls apart. Yeah, the dog splits in half, which is kind of cool. Chris Redfield looking a little bit anime here in the face, but not too bad, not too bad. I think he looks fine. All right, now we got the Hunter and Chimera. The Hunter obviously has the most articulation, and the Chimera kind of looks like a creepy little guy to go along with him. Real creepy looking. I don't know what to think about this thing. Okay, Jesus, we have Jill Valentine. Her mascara looks a little bit strong, man. I love this costume she has. I've seen this before where she's got like the beret and then these like gigantic shoulder pad things. Like, I don't know what sort of protection these provide, but they are kind of swaggy, I'm not gonna lie. She comes with a web spinner, which is a spider, obviously. Spider sort of thing. Looks like its butt opens. Look at that big old butt hinge. Next we have Tyrant. I believe Tyrant is the first game's like main boss. Big boy, very big. Kind of just chilling here on the back. He's got authentic video game actions, of course, which I guess in this case sort of means his arm swings around. But not bad, you know, very basic articulation, but the detail and stuff looks good to me. It's not like crazy detailed. Like, it's pretty detailed, but there's also like, I feel like there is some key stuff like they could have sculpted in more. Not even knowing this character's model, but also it is based on a PS1 game, so I mean, I really can't blame them. It's not like they had the Unreal Engine 5 or whatever to work off. And we also have a 2-pack of zombies here from Resident Evil. These are the last figures from this line, but there's also a Video Game Superstars Present Resident Evil 2, which we'll also look at. So these are the zombie and forest spire, maybe? This is a really interesting set. These zombies look great, by the way. You just gotta love a sculpted zombie action figure, especially an older one like this, where it's kind of, you know, got a vibe, maybe over detailed in some places, under detailed in others. This guy looks crazy, man. He's missing half his face. Looks like his neck got ripped up a little. These are pretty gnarly for kids' toys, I guess. This guy's really gross. He looks like a Walking Dead zombie or something. He's really gnarled and rough looking. Looks like he used to be a scientist or something. You can see the exposed rib cage. I really love the back here where it's like right through the lab coat, like they ripped it up getting to his back or something, the other zombies. The most interesting part of this set of 2 zombies is that it looks like there is a little platform he stands on and you... Future Jake cutting in here, I completely misunderstood the gimmick here. It's basically you make the zombie rise from its grave. The little handle just lets you make it go up from a laying down position. Alright, moving on, we have Resident Evil 2. I'm a bit more familiar with Resident Evil 2. I know it takes place in Raccoon City, and like you got the police officer Leon Kennedy that you play as. I just think the setting and stuff for that is much more interesting to me. Alright, first we have Ada Wong and Ivy, which is some sort of, you know, giant plant monster looking thing. It almost looks a bit rubbery. Maybe it's like a plant slash reptile monster, but we've got this, and we've got an Ada Wong figure, which interestingly seems to have soft goods for her shirt dress thing here, which is pretty cool, and a little watch printed onto her arm, which is fun. And we've also got the plant monster here, looking pretty cool, like Groot if he mutated. Yeah. Moving on, we have Claire Redfield and Zombie Cop. Claire Redfield, I'm assuming she is related to Leon or Chris Redfield. What does that say? Made in Heaven. So this is, again, this is what I'm talking about. Just like her brother Chris Redfield, she's kind of got like the pre-pose thing going on. Her arm is even completely bent already, which is, you know, this is just how they made action figures back in the day. We've also got a nasty looking zombie cop with his belly exposed, his guts and stuff. Is he holding a donut? Ew, that's gross. His face sculpt is nasty. This would give me nightmares as a kid if I had this. And then we've got the zombie cop with exploding action. Oh, he bursts in half. Yeah. All right, we've got Hunk slash zombie. I've seen this guy a couple times while doing research. This guy's name, I guess, is Hunk. I don't know if he's a hero or villain. He kind of looks like a bad guy. He's posed crazy. He definitely got the worst of the posing here, despite the cool costume he wears. And then we kind of just got a generic zombie, you know, just doing zombie things. Kind of looks like he has some Crocs on. Next up, we got the boy Leon Kennedy. You know, everybody loves Leon. He looks pretty cool here in his RPD outfit. Again, stanced a little bit weird. I don't love this like pose they put him in. We've got Leon, and we've also got a Licker, which I am pretty familiar with the Licker as a Resident Evil villain monster sort of thing. I've seen it a bunch. I think it came from Resident Evil 2. It looks pretty cool, man. Lots of sculpted detail here. Lots of little, you know, muscle detail and all that. Kind of looks like a bit of a statue, but, you know, that's okay. It looks like a cool piece regardless. Next up, we have Tyrant slash mr.x. I kind of know this guy. He's like the guy that follows you around, right? Chases you down in Resident Evil 2. But he comes with pieces to turn him into this sort of Tyrant 2.0 or whatever, like monster form. If you look at the packaging here, you can see all the monster bits like around him. So he can just turn into the Tyrant, which is pretty cool. I do like that as an action feature a lot. Fun fact, Mr. X is technically an unofficial name for this guy. In the games, he never gets a name beyond his enemy type, Tyrant. Mr. X came from the American novelization, and the toy line copied the novel. That is interesting. Thank you, Prismatica. Yeah, he does have a cool, nice, soft goods jacket here. I guess it's maybe like made of faux leather or something. It kind of has that look. We have William Birkin and Sherry. Sherry's a little kid, I assume. Little kid over here. But this guy, I believe, is the final boss of Resident Evil 2, or one version of him. This figure is really, really cool. I find this one to be fascinating. Like, just all the detail. Like, look at this guy's face in the chest, and then he's got like a little arm here, and then another arm here, and then there's a giant eyeball right here. Now, the coolest part about this giant eyeball is if you look on the back, you can actually manipulate it to look around. You can actually move it around with this knob here, which is so sick. Like, what an action feature. I love that. In the back, it looks equally grotesque and cool. Like, he's got spine, another eye popping out of here. Really, really nasty stuff. The final toy we're going to take a look at for this Video Game Superstars Presents line is William G3 slash G4. Now, this guy is a bit of a transformer that's not a transformer, because he says he has this form, which I believe is William G3. Which is kind of, you know, he's weird, gross looking dude. He's got like whatever's going on with his chest here. He's got two big arms on the back. That's really cool. This is what you can turn him into. You sort of like lay him down, and how the hell, like, where's this monster shit come from? Future Jake here again. The monster stuff comes from just extra pieces. They're just separate pieces that you add on. You take off his normal head, and then you switch it with the monster head. I mean, I guess he's all monster. You know what I mean. Alright, so after the Video Game Superstars line, we have one more toy line to look at, which is by Palisades, which is not a toy company I'm super familiar with, I'll be 100% honest. They made a lot of Resident Evil toys, and we're going to take a look at them. They did make some statues and busts and stuff, but not really what we're talking about today. I think there's like infinite statues of Resident Evil characters. Toys, not so much. So here's a packaging which looks fantastic, by the way. Absolutely love what they did with the packaging here. So it's got Resident Evil in these nice, like, emboldened letters, action figures. You see the character with all his weapons, and I think that's some sort of stand. If you look on the side here, it has him highlighted, and these guys sort of grayed out. Whatever character you got would be the one that was highlighted. So not only can you see, like, the character you're getting, but you can also see all the other characters in that series. So yeah, we've got Leon here, just classic Leon. He looks a bit like, it looks like he has brown hair as opposed to blonde, and he's kind of like doing, you know, hitting one of these a little bit. Each series has multiple, like, variant figures, so you could get normal Leon, or you could also get Leon Wounded, where he's got like bandage on his chest here, a bloody bandage, and he's got some red paint over him. This is interesting down here, a little sticker, a Zumbo Toys exclusive. What the hell is Zumbo Toys? I don't know what Zumbo Toys is, but that's epic. We've also got Nemesis, who I don't really know him. He's from Resident Evil 3. He looks big. I mean, look at how much space Leon takes up in this bubble compared to him. He is a big dude. The articulation doesn't look amazing, but, you know, again, it's 2001 when this came out, so. After Nemesis, we have Nosferatu, who is from Resident Evil Code Veronica, but this guy looks hella creepy. He's got like an exposed chest. It doesn't seem like they're really going in on like action features like the other line. Seems like they're just raw, you know, toys meant for posing and putting on your shelf. But he looks really cool. I like the detail and all that. Really creepy looking character. He's got like not a real chain, but like a proper chain going from his legs, which is cool. And then we have a zombie here. We have Soldier Zombie from Code Veronica. He almost looks like a zombie version of like the Toy Story army characters. You know what I mean? Like he's so green. Like even his skin is green. He also comes with a zombie dog, which looks gross and cool. They love their zombie dogs in this series. One thing I love about Resident Evil is, you know, I think it depends on the zombie or monster or whatever, but they like use guns and weapons and stuff. I think that's so interesting. Now we've got Wave 2 here. Very similar packaging going on. We have Alexia Ashford, who is some sort of plant monster looking lady. Future Jake here, once again, adding in some more info. So this figure is really interesting because she actually comes apart and has a bunch of extra pieces to become like this firefly creature. Pretty gnarly and weird looking, but yeah, I did not know that when I recorded this, so had to throw that in there. That is bizarre and cool. And we've also got Claire Redfield, who comes with a shitload of weapons, like so many weapons. She is from Code Veronica as well. Sculpting looks good. Not really a lot of articulation we're seeing here. You know, basic leg cuts. You got knees, you got elbows. Nothing much more. She can probably hold her gun and that's about it. We've got another version of Mr. X. This version is, you know, kind of interesting. He doesn't have a soft goods coat this time. It's just plastic, which probably hinders his movement a ton. He does come with some extra hands. You love to see some extra hands. Finally, for this wave, we have the zombie cop. So we got a zombie cop and a licker, which that's pretty cool. We're entering series 3 now, but we've got Chris here. Ugly haircut, man. Terrible haircut, but you know, I do know he's a beloved character. We've got Tyrant. We saw Tyrant a while ago. This is a different version now. Looks like he's got a little bit of an abdomen articulation thing going on here. He's got his big old hand, which looks cool. I really like how this one looks. What is on his face and chest? I don't know. It looks like that one thing from SpongeBob, like the organ he pulls out or whatever. Holy, look at him next to this Batman. That is the Mattel DC Superheroes Select Sculpt Batman. That is 6.5. Oh, that's a 6-inch figure? You're telling me this is a 6-inch Batman? Holy, he's like 12 inches tall. Jesus, that's awesome. That's badass, man. We've got Wesker and this hunter reptile thing. You know, kind of a more boring pack comparatively. And then we've got William G4 again. This is another version of William G4, non-transforming this time, but very, very detailed, as you can see, which looks pretty cool. Kind of like that. Nice sculpting and coloring, especially. I love the colors. All right, and the last Resident Evil thing I really want to discuss is NECA. Resident Evil 4 by NECA. They did a couple other lines, but this was their biggest by far. I'm like kind of counting this, kind of not. Like this was back when NECA did not do articulation at all. Like they did do articulation, but like the most minor, pointless articulation you could think of. Like this is this guy, right? In his packaging, his arms are down to his sides. He can only move his arms out to do this. There's no other articulation on this guy, at least as far as I can tell by looking at him. Not even his whole arms don't move. It's just at the biceps, which it's like, that's fine. I mean, these figures look great, don't get me wrong. You know, this guy Krauser, this weird thing going on with his arm. It looks cool. It looks detailed and good, but it's also not quite an action figure, right? Not quite what I would be looking for. All right, but that's my segment on Resident Evil. There are other toys for sure, but these are the only ones that I really wanted to discuss. Just real proper, meant to be played with kind of toys is what I wanted to talk about. And to my knowledge, these are what we got. We got Palisades and we have Toy Biz. You know, let me know in the comments if I missed a toy line. But it seems like it's mostly these, which, you know, Hey, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please consider liking and subscribing, and maybe check out my main channel, dumbjake, where I do these live streams. I just started doing them, so they're gonna be a little bit infrequent and random, but hopefully I'll get a set schedule going at some point. But yeah, thanks for watching. I appreciate you. I'll see you in the next one. Ciao.